Welcome back. It is still Nigeria's economy today from Super Screen Television. What are the challenges and opportunities in accident investigation in Nigeria 6 decades after? Joining me in the studio to address this issue and answer our questions on accident investigation in Nigeria is the General Manager Public Affairs of Accident Investigation Bureau in Nigeria, Mr. Tunji Oketumbi. Mr. Oketumbi, you are welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for finding time to come to the show. This is the second time that we'll be having you on the show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
We really appreciate the sacrifice made to make it to this program.
Service.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, Mr. Oketumbi, Nigeria is about to attain 60 years of independence. As we attain 60 years of nationhood, what are those opportunities in accident investigation in the aviation sector?
There are a lot of opportunities which we can say are directly related to the mandate of accident investigation. Accident investigation is trying to determine the circumstances leading to any occurrence in aviation and with a view to making safety recommendations that can mitigate future recurrence. And so the challenges and the opportunities that are bound to make accident investigation fulfill its mandate. Okay. And that's to improve aviation safety. In aviation, safety is primary. Safety is what we look at as the motivator for aviation. And in fact, if there is no safety in aviation, aviation is nothing. People want to move from one point to another, yes, as quickly as possible, sure, but they want to end up at the other end intact. And so it is not enough to say we can take you from here to America in 1 hour. They want to get there alive, sure, hale and hearty, without any scar on their body. And so that's what aviation is all about, is safety, safety, safety. And so accident investigation is as old as the aviation itself. Because during the First World War, when aeroplanes were deployed and things like that, and then one crashed, then they wanted to find out why did it crash. So that was the beginning of accident investigation. And we have been doing that since 1960. You yourself said, Nigeria is celebrating 68 years of independence. And since that time, accident investigation has been part of government system. It was a department in the Federal Ministry of Aviation, but it has evolved into an autonomous body which is called the Accident Investigation Bureau today. Okay. So the opportunities that are there are to exploit the resources available to us and then take aviation safety to a higher level. And that is exactly what we are doing now. We, for example, having a training school is being built right now, where we're going to be training people in the aviation industry in Nigeria and in Africa. So they can come, they can learn about aviation safety as related to the work that we are doing. So if you go to the US today, NTSB has a training school in Virginia, and they have used this to improve aviation safety in America. And that is exactly what we want to do too. We want to improve education, knowledge, the knowledge base of practitioners in the aviation industry, so that they can know how to advance aviation safety from our own perspective of what it is. So, but we are working with other agencies like Nigerian College of Aviation Technology and Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. These are the people that we are working with in order for us to achieve this aim and objective.
Okay, talking about training, and as Nigeria approaches our 60th independence anniversary, what kind of training programs would you emphasize in a bid to fulfill the statutory mandate of Accident Investigation Bureau?
Okay, we have accident investigators
Okay.
And before you can become an accident investigator, you will need to have a basic training in accident investigation. Whether you have been a pilot for 10 years, you have been a pilot, an aircraft engineer for 20 years or whatever, until you are properly trained as an accident investigator, you are not yet an investigator. You cannot investigate. Now, after you have gotten that, you need to be retrained and be retrained. So what we do in AIB is to ensure that our investigators are retrained regularly in accident investigation and in other areas that are related to their job. So we do not take training as a joke at all. As a matter of fact, we have committed a large sum of money into that, both in local currency and in foreign exchange.
In fact, that takes me to my next question. Can Nigeria offer this training?
For now, maybe not. Okay. That's why you said, I told you the other time that we are trying to establish a school.
Okay.
We'll need, most of the resource persons for that kind of school are retired and ongoing, but experienced accident investigators.
Okay.
So AIB as an autonomous body came into being, let's say 2007.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, but at that time, the people that we had were still stopgap, you know, because they were experienced people in aviation, but they were old. So they just served as a stopgap. But we can still use some of them in that school, you know. So, but when immediately we have the structures in place, we'll be able to do that. We have a lot of young professionals right now, and we believe that in the next few years, they would have attained a lot.
Okay. What is the definition of value in accident investigation in accordance with the International Civil Aviation Organization's benchmark?
Well, like I said earlier on, the purpose of accident investigation is to improve aviation safety. Okay. And so the value of accident investigation is actually located within that purview. Yeah. If you look at it, there was a year that an helicopter dropped into the Oronshoki Lagoon in Lagos Air.
Yeah.
And during the course of the investigation, we discovered something that was a bit suspicious to us. Looking through the wreckage of the helicopter. So we now took it down to the US to go and find out this thing that happened, was it before the crash or post-crash impact? It was discovered to be before the crash, so which really related to what happened. And immediately, because at that scene where we were doing the test, the manufacturers of the aircraft were there. The FAA in America, they were there, NTSB, we ourselves, you know. And immediately, a message was sent around the world that if you have this kind of aircraft, go and check this particular component.
Wow.
Because we discovered that the thing was unwinding until the knot was totally loosed, which caused the aircraft to come down. So that message was sent around the world. And from information we got, one helicopter in Brazil was found to be at the edge of being totally loosed. That which would have led to a crash. And so accident investigation is not a local something that you say is related to one country. No. That is why when there's an accident and then we are investigating, if we do not have capacity for a particular area, there are countries around the world that will volunteer and they will offer those things at no charge for us.
Fantastic.
And where we can also help, we also go in. For example, we went to Sao Tome and Principe. They didn't have the capacity to investigate that crash, and we went in there and we did it for them. So the value of accident investigation can be determined by the level of safety in that country. So what we do is to make safety recommendations that will be used to improve aviation safety. And this is exactly what we have been doing. A lot of recommendations have been made to the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority and airline operators. There are some that we have made to manufacturers of aircraft and components. There was one accident that we investigated, and we discovered that the fuel pump had issue because of the content of the materials, because of the materials used in the manufacturing that particular component. And so we made that recommendation to the manufacturer, and they accepted it. They are very grateful to us that we made that. So it is not just what happens in Nigeria alone, but all over the world. That's why anytime you release a report like that, people from around the world read it. Read the report. Especially people using the same type of aircraft. So the value of accident investigation will be measured by its contribution to aviation safety. And I think we are doing well as far as Nigeria and Africa is concerned.
Thank you very much. We are still talking about the helicopter crash. There was a recent helicopter crash in Lagos.
Yes.
Can you share with us the interim report on the Quorum helicopter crash and the rebuttal from the airline operator?
You see, I really do want to discuss that report because that accident is still being investigated. And that was why when we pushed out the report, we didn't even write a press release with it. We wanted people to read it and digest it, and because preliminary report is actually not the final report. It is just factual information.
But there was a rebuttal from the airline operator.
And we also did a rebuttal because we said, what they were saying was that we said that the medical certificate and the proficiency certificate of the pilot had expired before the crash. Actually, that is not even the real issue. That was not what caused that will probably not be what caused the crash. But there were issues. But that was what we saw.
Okay.
But they are now saying that they wrote to the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority for an approval because of the COVID. Because of that COVID, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority said, okay, we are going to give approval to people, to cover that period or whatever and things like that. Okay, if you submit a letter to an organization, there should be an acknowledgement. It should be signed for. Where is it? Produce it. Because what we saw, when we want to authenticate our document or any document that we will go to the source, and the source is Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. We went there and they said there is no evidence. They told us in writing that there is no evidence that the operator had submitted a request for an approval to authenticate that, to elongate the life of those certificates. The one that was valid, we said it was valid. The certificate of airworthiness for that aircraft was valid, and we said so in our preliminary report. So we don't want to be discussing issues relating to that because for me, it's a distraction.
Okay.
It's not the real issue. The real issue is what were the circumstances that led to that crash. So what caused the crash and why of that cause? What happened and why did it happen? That's our own position. So we are not ready to be, but just to put the record straight, that was why we pushed out that press statement. Otherwise, it's not necessary.
So we should still be awaiting the final report.
Of course, that's the process. The ICAO Annex 13, which we have adopted in Nigeria, makes it mandatory for us to issue a preliminary report within a certain period of time. And then we also feel obliged we believe that we are working for the public.
Sure.
And so we should put them in loop of what is happening. So, and then we pushed out this factual information. There is no analysis there. There is no test. We are still going to do more things. It may even involve dismantling the engine to look at what is inside. You understand? There could be tests that we are going to authenticate a lot of things. We will still be talking to a lot of people. But for now, the preliminary investigation, the information it has given us, this and this and this and these are the things that we have observed on the field. And that was why we said, okay, we saw the tank, there was no fuel in the tank. So we said, this is what we saw. This is the certificates that we were able to see. This was the these were the expiry dates and all those things. Those are the things that we are not doing any analysis. We are not explaining anything. You didn't see any comment. Our own comment is not in that report yet. There is no safety recommendation there.
Okay.
There is no portion of it that says this is what caused the crash.
So all these analysis, safety recommendations will have to come with the final reports.
Of course. In the final report, you are going to see a lot of things. The type of investigation system or technique that we used. You are going to see the beyond the findings, test and analysis. What are the things that we did to come to certain way? Then we will now put our conclusions there. And after we have finished with the exercise and we have drafted the report, we have a draft report, we are not supposed to publish it immediately. Okay. We'll send one copy to the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. We'll send a copy to the country of design of the aircraft. We'll send a copy to the operator of the aircraft here in Nigeria and several other stakeholders like that. And we'll give them 90 days according to ICAO Annex 13 recommendations. We'll give them 90 days to respond.
Before it is made?
Yes, if they see anything and they say, oh, this is a fresh angle that we are seeing into this, if you see their comment and we say, oh, we are not bound to accept their comment anyway, but they can actually influence the final report. Because we can now begin to say, okay, oh, they are reaching fresh angle. So we now go and start investigation along that fresh angle to the end. Accident investigation is a very thorough business. Very thorough, very detailed. And that is why, you know, when there's an accident, people want to know immediately what caused the crash.
Yes.
It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Because the manufacturer of the aircraft is also interested in that investigation. So they want to look at it. And if they see anything, any area where they disagree with us, they will send it back in their comments.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing your views on that, that particular helicopter crash. Now, would you come to terms with the challenges of accident investigation? And how would, or what do you think could be done to overcome these challenges?
Well, there are various challenges. Some you can overcome within a short time, but the major challenge to any organization is funding. But we give credit to the federal government. They have been funding AIB very well, but maybe we can do better. We can get better, but we can say we are not the only agency in Nigeria. So there are others competing social issues that the government want to attend to and things like that. And also, don't forget that the recent impact of COVID on the aviation industry was also affected because we also derive some revenue from the operations or activities in the aviation industry. However, our challenge is how to get our people trained very well. Our challenge is how to make sure we have equipment, we update our equipment, technology, we engage in technology, you know, modern technologies to advance accident investigation. Well, I believe that all these ones can be overcome, but timing may be an issue. But we have done well. We have a flight safety laboratory in Abuja where we can decode, where we can download information from flight recorders and then decode them and then analyze them. So very sophisticated laboratory, and it's rated among the best in the world right now. So, which is also available to other countries in Africa. They can bring in their flight recorders to come and download and then decode air. We can do that. So we have that. And beyond that, we also have a material science laboratory which can be used for testing materials and things like that. But this laboratory is also available to higher institutions in Nigeria. They can use it, to do tests or whatever they want to do. This is very, very important. So that is one. We are talking about equipment. We are talking about manpower. We are talking about system. We are talking about procedure and processes. We have the current management in AIB is very serious about that. And so our processes, our systems, our procedures are being, reviewed. And right now, we are expecting the bill at the National Assembly, to be passed. Once it's passed, we are going to be adding more portfolios to our job, especially the marine, road, rail, at least those three vital sectors of the transport, subsectors of the transport sector will be added to our portfolio. And so that's going to be a challenge too. We are going to be training manpower, we're going to be acquiring facilities, equipment, and all those things that will help us to be able to undertake that task in those subsectors. So this is a very, very important thing that we know that we are contributing to the national development. AIB is positioned to render that service, to the nation, and we are not relenting. We are not relenting, but we believe that all those challenges can be handled, because what it takes is to have a visionary leadership, and I think we are blessed with that one in AIB.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tunji Oketumbi. This is where we wrap up and draw the curtain on today's episode of Nigerians Economy Today. Thank you, Mr. Tunji Oketumbi, the General Manager, Public Affairs, AIB. Join us next week, same station, same time. However, the conversation continues on our social media platform. I remain Tunde Odeyemi. God bless Nigeria.